Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Dussault, and welcome to the Purpessence podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Kelly Isaac. And let me tell you something. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Kelly is a professional pool ball player. She actually plays pool for a living. How cool is that? But it was not easy to get to where she is now. In fact, it's one hell of a story. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Brian.
How are you doing today?
I'm great.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Is there anything you can tell us that you're doing in the near future? Any competitions or anything you're working on or anything new?
Yeah, actually, I haven't scheduled it yet, but there's a big tournament in Las Vegas in December, and it's called the U.S. Bar Table Championships, and I've done pretty well in it in the past. I mean, I had 2 second place finishes, and it's very tough competition. I really like it.
That's going to be exciting. When was that again?
It's in December. I think it's December. I want to say it starts on the 9th or 10th, somewhere around there.
Is that going to be live, like broadcasted, or
they
on
will
TV?
Stream it?
Awesome.
Yeah, they'll stream it. I will probably do some stuff ahead of that. I just don't know yet.
Right. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out and I'll stream it.
Okay.
I wanted to get a little origin story from you.
Okay.
So how you grew up, where you grew up.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and I graduated from Whitmer High School. So I was in that area, Lexus area. And I had just a normal family life, I guess you'd say.
Did you do any sports in school?
I did a lot. I loved sports. Mm-hmm. So I found out at a young age that I thought I was a boy. Kind of when I was young. You know, I was a tomboy is what I was. Mm-hmm. But I hung out with the boys more than I did the girls. So I found out at a young age I was different than the other girls who liked to play Barbies. I wanted to go play football. So I was very athletic, yes.
I find it fun too, so.
Yeah.
When's the first time you picked up a pool stick?
Well, that's an interesting story. So because I had a brother, and my brother wasn't very athletic. I was the athletic one. So my dad and I did all the sports things together. We threw the football, we threw the baseball, we played basketball in the yard, things like that. And we also liked to watch pool. My dad was really into watching pool on TV. So I don't know how old I was when I started watching pool, but he loved it. And I was a daddy's girl, and then I just loved it. And I just remember watching it for years and just loving the game. But I don't think I actually picked up a cue till I was around, I think my dad felt like 16 or 17 was a good age to take me in the pool room. And because, the pool room is kind of a iffy place. It can be. But he took me in the actual pool room when I was about 16, 17, and I picked up a pool cue, and it was over from there. I loved it. I fell in love.
And was your dad a pretty good pool player?
Yeah, my dad's really good. He's good. He doesn't compete on a national level, but he's a threat here locally.
That's awesome. And how long has he been playing? Just basically forever?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably something he's done his whole life. And I think, like me, I take after my dad. I think he's kind of one of those people that's really good at everything and competitive. And he's a great golfer, too. So he's also a great bowler. So I think he's just an all-around competitor.
Very nice. What did your parents do for a living?
My dad, he started off repossessing cars, and then he ended up vice president at Huntington Bank. So
wow.
with commercial loans, I think there's a few different categories, but he was very successful. And my mother, she worked at National City Bank. So I guess I had bankers in the family. I worked at a bank for a little bit too, because I thought that might be a direction maybe I should go in, because everybody else in the family works at a bank, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
You pretty good with managing money then, since your parents were bankers?
You know what? My dad always taught me the importance of managing money and saving and bank accounts. So yeah, I've always been really responsible with money, but it always amazed me to see these young kids coming in that had no idea how to manage their money at all. So I guess I was lucky that I grew up with a responsible banker family, because I learned a lot about managing money. That's
a good thing, because a lot of people just spend every paycheck they have, and paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, I have a savings account, and I have another, it's like a safety net kind of account, just in case. I don't really understand it, but they told me to get it, so I got it.
Yeah, you have to have that.
It only has like $100 in that one. It's just like a safety net, I guess.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
You might need that $100 someday. You'll be happy it's there.
True. So how long have you been playing pool? Like how many years?
I get asked that question a lot, and I really should sit down and think about that answer, because I don't know. I have there's so many gaps in there. I want to say, I'm just guesstimating. So I'm going to say 12 years altogether.
Right. Like 12 solid years.
Well, I took like a 10-year hiatus in there somewhere. So, I want to say altogether, between the time that I started, between the hiatus, and then now, I want to say probably about 12 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess I could say solid.
Mm-hmm. Sounds right.
I don't know if I'd use that word.
If I, by seeing you play.
Yeah.
And it looks like 12 years to me, so.
I think that's about accurate.
Yeah. That's good. And that pays off well, right? Practicing that much?
Yes. You have to practice a lot to be competitive in that sport, or unless you're one of them really blessed people that just have this, unbelievable ability, and most people have to practice a lot.
Right. But some people may say that about you. I would.
Yeah, I guess. I did have a natural, but I had to develop it. I had to develop it a lot.
Right.
I had to practice a lot.
So let's go back to when you were 16, 17 years old, and you picked up the pool stick. So your dad took you into the bar or wherever you play pool, and you pick it up and play. So what happened from there?
Well, I instantly knew that I wanted to play this game. And I think because I was athletic growing up, I played basketball, I played softball, I played all these team sports. But the problem is I never really got along with other people in school. I always felt like I was different than them. I never really quite fit in. I got made fun of, things like that. So the team sports, I got kicked off the basketball team. I should probably throw that out there. So I got kicked off the basketball team because I was now starting to get, I'm going back a little bit again, but I started getting in trouble, skipping school, getting detention, and the basketball team's like, absolutely not. Goodbye. So which was fine because none of the other girls on the team liked me anyway. But with pool, it was like, wow, here's something I can do. I was always a loner anyway. I can do this by myself. So I can go into the pool hall and I can put in all these hours and get good at something. And I don't need to do this with somebody else.
Right.
So I don't know if that was necessarily a healthy way of looking at things, but I think for me, I really enjoyed that time alone with myself, just me and the table. And I loved that.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a lot of team sports as well, and I played music all my life, kind of just like how you play pool, and been in bands all the time, and they always quit or something happens or it doesn't work out. And just doing it yourself, going off, and now with all this technology and everything, you can do it yourself so much better. Just going alone, you can put all them hours in, like you said, and actually benefit from it and see it pay off.
Yeah, and then when I do get in competition, the only person I have to count on is myself. I don't have to worry about somebody passing me the ball, or I don't have to worry about letting somebody down or anything like that. I'm responsible for myself and myself only. Not that I didn't play in team events later down the road in pool, but that's a whole nother story. So, yeah.
So you went from basketball, team sports, to pool, and you found a passion for it.
Yes.
So what are you doing with this passion? Now what?
Well, now I am...
I mean, like, you're 16 or 17 right now.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were talking about today.
No, yeah, okay. We're moving on.
So now I'm 16, 17 years old. I'm getting out of school. I'm going straight to the pool hall. I'm practicing. This is when I started meeting other people because they don't see too many females in the pool hall practicing by themselves.
Yeah, especially probably 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I highly doubt you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had, I'll never forget this guy. His name was Tino Mendoza. And he came up and he just started showing me, he saw something in me, and he started teaching me how exactly to aim. And he would just set the balls up and I would just shoot them. And that man taught me so much about playing. And at least now I knew what I was practicing. I knew how to practice instead of just getting up there and doing whatever. Now I had a way to practice. And this is when I really started putting in the hours.
That definitely matters because then we didn't really have like all these tools to help us out. Just hop online and figure it out. Like we could, but not like now. Like having an experienced coach or someone to show you really helps.
Yeah, I didn't have any videos or anything. And there wasn't YouTube videos. What the internet, I'm sure it was out then. I'm not that ancient, but I can't remember what year it was. But anyway, it wasn't as popular and that kind of stuff wasn't available. So Tino was a big help. And somebody had come up to me and they said, you need to go to this other pool hall. That's where all the good players are. If you really want to develop your game, you should go to this Glass City Billiards. And it was a little seedier, though. It was like...
some rough people.
It was, I remember going in there and it was just a totally different feel. It was closed off and smaller, but that's when I couldn't believe the talent that was in there. And it just, my love for the game just kept getting bigger because it was like looking at these players, they were so good and they were gambling for money and people were coming from out of town to play these people for money. It was exciting. So
sounds like some like outlaws. Like I feel like a Western movie. Like you just walk in and that's how I'm feeling right now.
This was a pool halls today are not really like this. This was a pool hall. You walk in, there's a pop machine. There's I don't even know if there was a jukebox. There was a jukebox and a pop machine, but there was no alcohol. The only food you could get was chips. So people came there to play pool.
Nice.
Whereas today, a lot of the pool halls, it's, food, like they have a full menu. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this was when I think of a pool hall, this was...
Right. That was the main attraction.
Yeah.
Not like a bar that happens to have pool tables.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, you met Tino. Mm-hmm. All right, you got some good coaching, and how long did that last?
Tino mentored me for quite a while until I started hanging out really at this Glass City Billiards.
Okay, yeah.
And then I started learning a lot by watching. I found out that just by watching, I could mimic these players' stroke. I could mimic the way that they play. I learned a lot about moving the cue ball around the table. It was interesting how much you can pick up just from watching.
Right.
And I think a lot of hours, because I noticed if I watched a player for about an hour, I could get up and practice and I would be playing that better than I was before. So made a difference.
So it was Glass City Pool Hall? What was that?
Billiards.
Glass City Billiards.
Yeah.
And when you started playing there, did people notice you? Like, did they notice this young girl coming in and, wow, she has some skill? And did they want to help you out? Did they, like, how was it when you were playing there?
Yeah, I did get noticed. I mean, I think I was probably which I was used to kind of in my life, because being a tomboy, I was the only girl that was hanging out in there. And one of the workers, his name was Omar. He was so funny. He taught me, this is how I started learning about gambling, because he would bet on everything and anything, flipping quarters. I mean, it was funny to watch some of the stuff that went on in the pool hall. The betting, it was, and then at night they would close down the I can say this now because it's closed, but at night they would close down the pool hall and they would play poker around the pool table.
Nice.
And now I'm picking up something else. I'm learning how to play Texas Hold'em.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah. And I just remember, I have so many memories of walking out of the pool room at 7:00 in the morning after being there all night, and just bright sun coming at me. And this was now my life. Like, I was coming to the pool rooms and just staying there all night. At this point in time, I'm like 18,
Okay.
Of course
Just getting out. You got out of high school, or?
Yeah, I'm out of high school now, and I'm playing every day. I'm at the pool hall every night. So yeah, because my parents never would have gone for that, but now I'm 18, so they couldn't really say anything, and they knew I was okay. They knew I was playing.
Yeah,
and
they knew where you were. So
yeah.
So you're 18. Were you betting money a lot then? Were you making some side money, some good cash, or?
Well, interesting, in pool, you have to lose a lot before you start making money.
Okay.
So I was not making too much money at this point. I was betting money against players I could not beat, and I knew I couldn't beat them, to try to season my game. They call it seasoning. And I would play against these players, and I know I'm going to lose. I mean, I'm not feeling like I'm going to lose. It's not like I'm getting to the table going, I'm going to just give this money. I mean, I'm really trying to beat them. And
right.
I would get better and better. But I was also losing money on this guy, Omar, who was teaching me how to bet. I would lose so much money to him. It was funny. So I'm trying to get comfortable betting, and it's really hard to do that. So I get nervous and I start missing balls that I should never miss. And as I kept losing money, Omar kept betting more. And I was trying to get myself out of this hole that I was in with him. And I'm young. I only had $100 was a lot to me.
Yeah,
I think he had
it's a lot now.
Yeah, I think he had me stuck like $100 and some dollars. And then he looked at me and he goes, if you run to the pop machine and you get me a Diet Coke in 20 seconds and get back here, I'll let you off the hook. And I was so happy, because I thought that I was going to lose everything that I had in this one night. At that age, a lot of money. So.
Oh, I can understand. So now you met Omar, and he's showing you he's your Obi-Wan basically in betting. And so you now have some Texas Hold'em skills. You sound pretty good at pool. Like, were you beating other people or just losing to Omar?
I was playing anybody and everybody, and I was losing. But what I found that was doing for me is when I would go out of town, and when I say out of town, at this point in my life, Ohio, Michigan area, nothing too far, but I was winning in the women's events.
Okay.
And easily.
So now you're going out of town, and are these like pool halls or competitions? Are they just at local bars, or?
Some of them are at pool halls. Some of them they would clear out hotel lobbies, and they would rent out the hotel, and they'd bring the pool tables in, and it was really fun because everybody would stay for the weekend, and you just walk out of your hotel room and there's a pool table, and you'd play your matches, and they were all night long. So they were exhausting. They called them like, this one event was called Sleepless in Sandusky, and it went on all weekend long, literally no sleep. I could not do that today. There's no way. All weekend, no sleep, just one event after the next. And I did really well there. So I was feeling really confident about myself, confident in my game, hanging out at the pool hall every day. And yeah.
So was it like flyers or word of mouth, or how'd you know about tournaments?
Word of mouth and flyers.
Okay.
I think a lot of stuff was word of mouth because we would there was no Facebook back then. And,
right.
Now I look at how much pool has changed because of Facebook, which I quite honestly think it's ruined the game. But in ways it's enhanced it, but in ways it's completely ruined it. It's better for tournament play, but it's not great for if you're... So I would hear all these stories about being on the road. And so I'm like, what is this road thing? So everybody, you're hanging out in the pool room. I'm the only girl. There's like 10 guys around, old timers. Some of them are current. And they talk about these road players and gambling on the road. And it just always sounds so exciting. They have all these stories about this guy hustling this guy and just all these things. And I loved hearing the stories, and we would have players come through from different areas. And because there was no Facebook, we didn't know who these guys were. They would walk in the pool room and they just wanted to play for money. Nobody knows their names. Nobody knows where they're from. And you had to kind of figure it out. So I'd listen to these guys trying to negotiate this game all night. And by the time they'd finally play, you're like, it's really exciting. And
did you have a pool name, a stage name? Or?
I never had a stage name. I never had one. But some people do, some people don't. I guess I never developed like my own unique thing to get a name. I think everybody has like something they always have, or like the Jeanette Lee, the Black Widow. She was known because she had long black hair and she always wore black. She had a black glove, there's always something like that, but I didn't really I always wear all black, but they can't call me the Black Widow too. So I never really had anything.
All right. So you traveling just basically around the state and border states bordering Ohio.
Yes.
Going to competitions and around 18, 19. And so you come back, and how do your parents think about that? What do they think of you? They have to know you unless you moved out.
I think my dad was okay with it at this point. But it was like I think I was around 19 when I met Jack, and that kind of things kind of started. No, you know what? No, I was 18 when I met Jack, because Jack came in the pool room when I was around 18, hustled me.
Okay.
I walked in and this guy was standing at the counter and he said, I'll play you for $1 a game and I'll explain this in a minute, but he said, I'll give you the blue through. And what that means is in 9-ball, it's a game you play in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You hit them in order. And he was basically saying, all I have to do is make the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I make any one of those balls and I win the game. And I'm looking at him like, how is he going to, I'll play anybody like that. Like, okay. So $1 a game. All right, I'll play you. And I start playing him and I never got to the table. He just break, run, break, run, break, run. And I'm just watching him like, what in the heck? And another guy walked up to me and said, do you know who that is? And I said, no. And they're like, that's Jack Hines. And I'm thinking, that's the guy that I've heard all these like road stories about for years. And I'm like, okay. And then I just kept playing because I was kind of in awe with what he was doing and wanted to see how long he could do it. I think I lost $40 to him.
That's insane. Like, and you just stood there.
I'm just like looking at him. I just couldn't believe somebody could just play that good. But he said to me, I think I was 18 around that time. I'll never forget. He says to me when he's walking out the door, he said, I'm coming back in a year, and when I come back, we're going to go on the road. And
that's just like something you see in the movies.
well, yeah, it felt like it. And I'm like, the road that I've been hearing about for, I keep saying years, but I guess I'd only been probably a year. It felt like years at the time because I was younger. It feels like eternity when you're that age. But I've been hearing about this road for so long. This guy's going to like take me on the road. How cool is that? And I wanted to see what this was all about. So I just ignored the fact that he said he's coming back in a year because he had to wait to get off probation.
Oh.
That kind of just like, I don't know why the bells didn't go off in my head, but
he wasn't allowed to leave the state or city or whatever.
Well, he actually was living in Arkansas at the time. I really don't know why. I think he was there to try to, I'm not sure why he was there, but he went back to Arkansas. I don't think he was supposed to be there. And he went back or he had to, maybe probation hadn't started yet. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he had to finish this year of probation and then he was going to come get me and go on the road. And at 18, I thought that sounded like a good idea.
I mean, that's an awesome experience. I mean, when I was 18, I didn't travel. Well, I did. That was the last year I kind of traveled, but it wasn't like that. I just kind of went to California and visited my mom, but it wasn't like on my own traveling, going to bars and pool halls and hotels, playing pool, making money and having fun,
Yeah. Well, so I was warned quite a bit about not, people told me, don't do it. Do not go with this guy. He's not a good person. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm fine. I can handle myself. I'm an adult, so.
Can't tell me what to do,
Exactly. Like, yeah, I thought everything would be okay.
Mm-hmm. So between the time he left after he hustled you and before he came back, was there anything in there that happened?
Not clearly. I think from that time, I just was really motivated to get really good. So when he came back, I would be ready. So I was just putting in a lot of time, same stuff.
Yeah, now you have a lot of motivation.
Yep, and now I have motivation. And I wasn't sure if he was actually going to come back or not. I think I kind of thought maybe he wouldn't. Like, yeah, okay, But then when he came back, it was like, wow, you're coming back. We're actually going on the road. I think I told my dad, I would have to ask my dad this, but I think I told my dad I was just going to a tournament or something. And I didn't actually tell him who I was going with and I'm not sure my dad knew about him. I mean, my dad played locally, but he didn't play in that pool hall. And I don't think he knew who Jack was or heard the stories or anything like that. And I know he didn't know because there's no way he would have let me leave with this guy. So.
Yeah, you'd probably have to want to meet him or know more about him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just said I'm going to this tournament and I knew I wasn't coming, I knew I wasn't going to come right back, but I just told them that. I didn't know how long I was going to be gone. I didn't really know what to expect. So I just packed some stuff and left with this guy that I didn't really hardly know.
Was it just you and him?
It was just me and him. I had without obviously going into anything extensive because we'd be here for hours, but I had a long history of already making bad decisions before I got into pool. Pool kind of, I talked about detention and things like that, skipping school. So I was kind of a troubled kid.
Okay.
When I got into pool, I kind of got away from that a little bit. Then I meet this guy and now I'm kind of pulled back into this exciting life and just the bad decisions started coming back.
Right. So you're on the road now. So where are you going? Are you going close by, or are you just going on the other side of the country?
Well, again, back then, now I sound old, we didn't have GPS, we didn't have all that stuff. So we got the atlas out and it's like, we're just going to go to these pool halls. We're going to go to these different major cities or areas and we're going to walk in and make money. And so, I mean, I think
So he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. He was older than me. That was another thing. I think he was like 40 years old. I was 18. So 19. So he knew what he was doing. He had done this for years. He had a whole routine. It was actually kind of fun. If we went into like a little bar, he was really good at playing the obnoxious drunk. Of course, he wasn't drunk, but he would play the obnoxious drunk, like pretend like he was wasted, and guys hated him and they just wanted to play him. He would say to them, he's the best in the world. And then he'd get up and he would lose purposely and then say, well, you're no good. My girlfriend could beat you. And then my role was to pretend like I wanted him to leave. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get him out of here. He does this all the time. And then he would just keep talking his smack. And eventually I would end up playing. So, and then they guys don't like losing to a girl, but what people don't realize is it's not easy for a girl to walk into a bar and make money playing pool, because guys don't want to gamble with a female. For one, if a girl wants to play you for money, immediately an alarm goes off in the guy's head, because it's not something common they see, and they think, oh, this girl's a pool hustler. So I can't just do that on my own. It's very, very hard. And I mean, there are certain types you can do that with, but a lot of guys don't want to play a girl for money. They'll play you for drink because they don't mind losing that. They feel like it's a win-win for them. But so with Jack and I working as a team worked really well.
Nice. Yeah, that's a quite the setup plan there. Seems like that's kind of foolproof. Like, it's like making a lot of money at that time, or
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, a lot for us. I mean, we were living on the road. We were living out of hotels. We had to pay for everything. So everything cost money. And then he would go to the bigger tournaments and he would do well in those. But people hated him. So I was finding that out real quick.
Okay.
And I was also finding out that we would go to these pool halls and I'm actually surprised we didn't get attacked by people because some of the stuff that he would do, and just to make people mad. And these guys were not people you want to make mad. Yeah,
if they find out you're getting hustled like that in a bar where there's alcohol, if it's like that, I could see some fights breaking out. Did that ever happen?
There were some times where it was close, but it didn't happen. I don't know why, and I don't know how, but it didn't happen. But Jack was definitely an interesting character. He there were some things I didn't know about him. Obviously, he had a bad drug habit, and I would just be afraid of him, because I would just sit there and he would be using drugs and paranoid.
Would he got used to you being around, and he just kind of just all of a sudden just did his drugs?
Well, he would do drugs, but he didn't really care that I was there or not. But he was a very paranoid person. Even when he wasn't using drugs, he always thought I knew I was in trouble when we're out in the middle of Missouri, and he's sure we're being followed. We're being followed, and I'm out there. I'm 19. I can't go anywhere. It's my car. It's my car. Okay, by the way.
That's
so I'm driving. I'm with this guy. He's thinking people are following us. At this point, he even had me writing down license plate numbers. And I mean, if you think from my point of view, what am I going to do? Go, you're crazy? And I can't, right? Yeah. So I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I have to just play along with his delusions. Yeah. Which he had quite a few of them. It was get pretty scary at times. So yeah, it was, I'm thinking, this is not what I expected. This is not, I don't know what I thought the road was going to be, but I didn't think it was going to be this. I didn't think it was going to be, and there were times we had to sleep in the car. Mm-hmm. There were times we had no money, where we had to eat at restaurants and leave. You know?
Yeah, dine and dash.
The old dine and dash. Yeah, we were good at it. So Red Lobster.
Good food.
Red Lobster was our favorite place. I know. Terrible, but I think we've all done that, haven't we? Have you done that?
I've done it through a drive-through.
A drive-through?
Yeah.
What, you got your food and just drove off?
They gave me the food first. That's their fault.
And you just decided at that moment that you were just going to take off? Because usually you pay first.
Right.
So you didn't know you were going to do that then until you got the food.
Yeah, they gave me the food. And I'm like, wait, do they want me to pay for this? And I'm like, I'm out of here.
And you just took off?
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
What?
Seriously, that's insane to me. Of all the things I've done, that's the craziest. Because your car, they got your license plate, you're like right there, and you got the.
It's a $5 meal. What are they gonna do?
And you're blatantly taking off. Like if it died,
that's their fault though. They gave me the food.
Dining and dashing, at least you can be sneaky about it. You know, one person goes to the car, the other person acts like they're going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't like
nobody actually sees you.
Well, I was about the same age.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they had a camera. I didn't even think about a camera. But they gave me the food first. Like,
that was their mistake.
They do. Some places do that now. They, like a Big B, will give you the coffee first.
Oh, thanks for telling me. Maybe I'll try
it's a free
your
coffee.
move. I'll just, see what happens. Mm-hmm. Be adventurous.
Start doing that. They got to change their rules.
Now, if I ever go to a fast food restaurant and they give me the food first, I am going to forever be thinking, should I gun it? Should I gun it right now?
Or you could be in Sonic. I don't really like Sonic. But I don't eat much fast food, but they'll walk out into the line and give you your food, and you have to drive up and pay.
So you've been thinking about this?
Yeah, I've been
It's
plotting
interesting.
So besides drive-through heists, you found out this guy is just. He sounds like you. It sounds like you're scared. Like I don't know what's going on. Like he's doing drugs. He's hustling people. People don't like him. Do people not like you too when you're associated with him?
Well, I was quickly building a reputation that I didn't know, at the time, because it was like, who's this girl running around with Jack Hines? And, it wasn't a very good reputation. I'm automatically going to be associated with whatever he's doing. And I didn't even know the list of it at that time. I didn't even know the back history. Now there's a whole thread on AZ Billiards about stories about him. It's very, very interesting. He's out in California, I think, somewhere now. Been arrested a bunch of times, living on the street. I mean, it's a really bad, sad story because the guy was extremely talented. Like,
right.
My talent times 10,000, and then in everything that he did, super smart. But anyway, so this guy, I'm stuck out there. I'm scared of him. I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, there were times we'd be in the hotel room and he would turn up all the sound and be walking around the room, and everything's just, he thinks somebody's out to get him. And so I just was like, he thought the car was bugged. I think at one point I was worried he was going to start thinking I was undercover.
Sounds like he was schizophrenic.
He had, it could have been like drug-induced schizophrenia. True. Or he just, you're right. I mean, it could be, knowing what I know now, I know a lot more about mental illness. He definitely had paranoid delusions.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't always drug-induced, because I mean, he was sober most of the time. Anyhow, so forward a little bit. I've been on the road with him now. Let's I want to say around 3 months.
Okay.
And the longest 3 months of my life.
Right.
And we're coming back to Toledo. And it's New Year's Eve. And I haven't told my family that I'm coming back because I don't know what we're doing. So it's New Year's Eve, and he decides he wants to get some party supplies.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm kind of like, it's New Year's Eve. I kind of want to partake this one time because
you're back now.
It's like I'm feeling good. It's New Year's. You're supposed to party on New Year's Eve, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what my mindset was. Yeah. So I was like, I'll try it. And I can always look back in my life and decisions that I made. And that was a bad decision. And it changed the course of my life that night because the story went, we got off in downtown Toledo. We picked up the first random guy we saw walking down the street, asked him if he could get us some stuff. The guy got in our car, and I saw police lights in the back of my window. So the guy jumps out. I have the supplies in my hand. The guy in the back seat jumps out of the car. My car door is open. Jack's driving. Jack just takes off. And I'm like, now we're being chased. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm screaming at him. I'm like, stop. And he's turning corners. He's like, throw it out the window right now. Throw it out. Boom. It's gone. Then all of a sudden there's 6 cop cars surrounding our car. I'm thinking, my life is, I don't know anything about the law. I've never been in trouble. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're in so much trouble. They searched my car. They tore it apart. They arrested him. And I just went to the office building, the police thing. And I had to call my parents and tell them to come pick me up.
And they didn't even know you were home yet?
And my car got impounded and they didn't even know I was in town. So it's like, and I missed Christmas. Yeah. So I'm like, Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'm in town, but I'm at the police station downtown. I need a ride because my car is impounded. So
that was probably
hopefully my dad will never listen to this because I told my dad that the story I said was that we got pulled over. That Jack had a warrant out for his arrest for an unpaid parking ticket, and he was driving, so they took him in, and I had been drinking, so I couldn't drive, so they impounded my car, and I needed a ride home, and that was the story that I came up with, and it worked. Sorry, Dad. It worked, and they were not happy with me, but they were like, okay, at least you're safe and you're home. So anyhow.
So you got in trouble with the law. It seemed like you were, you caught a break though, because, it was that other guy that was really the one they were after, because he took off in the car and they probably talked to him. He probably sounded crazy. And you were a little girl,
Well, they were familiar with him, yeah. I'm sure.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're home now and 19-ish years old. And so
might have been
you're back.
20. Maybe it was 20 when I went on the road. My timing's so off. I'm not even sure. So I was 19 or 20 now, whatever.
Right. And you're back home and what now? You're not traveling the road. Well, you got back from the 3 months travel. You're back home. You had quite the experience. And
well, I could literally go on forever, but I'm not going to do that because it'll be really boring. But basically what happened was, I was home. I was home for a short amount of time. I met back up with Jack because he only spent the weekend in jail.
Oh, you met back with him?
Well, yeah, because he only spent the weekend there and he had no place to go after. I've kind of felt responsible for him now because we had spent so much time together.
Yeah.
We ended up back on the road. I was able to get him back down to Arkansas only through a friend, and basically the guy kidnapped me to get him down there because I tried to fly him back down, and he took off in my car and wouldn't stop driving. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm driving him down. That's a whole different story, but anyhow, my life, because of that night.
Because of that night?
Because of trying the drugs that night.
Right.
And then I guess I kind of felt that, I had done drugs in my teen years.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time I'd done crack.
Oh yeah. Some hard stuff.
Yeah. And so I've kind of felt like, I wasn't afraid to try it. So when I came across it again and then, I just basically I had a path in pool. I had a dream. I had this vision of where I was going to go, and
you're not going there right now.
Now I'm not going there. I made a bad decision starting with Jack, and it led me to this long road of addiction and just darkness, I guess.
Were you not even thinking about pool anymore, or you were thinking about it, but just you couldn't, like, for some reason you couldn't go that way because you now are...
I still played, actually. I still played, developing more of this bad reputation because now I'm doing drugs and people are knowing me as a drug user in the pool world at this young age. And I was hooked up with another group of people at this point in time who were using a lot. And my pool game slowly started to suffer and pretty much ended up becoming non-existent. I'd say around 21, 22, I just completely was so consumed with drugs that I really wasn't playing at all. And now at this point in my life, I'm trying to find ways to seek help. Like, I want to get treatment. Like, I know I'm killing myself. I'm 100 and, now I'm 5'9". I was down to 109 pounds or something like that. And I was, my every day was consumed with drugs. And unfortunately, I was around somebody who had an endless supply. So it's always there. I just couldn't get out of it.
What made you change your mind?
I think I just knew, like, I'm going to die. Like, I know I had a really close period where I felt that I was going to overdose. I remember being with this group of people and I had to go to the bathroom because I knew something was wrong, and I fell and I could feel myself losing consciousness, and I was like, I got to make it through this. And somehow I made it through that. And that's when I was like, I got to go get help. But, like any drug addiction, the help doesn't happen the first time you go to treatment, and most of the time it doesn't work the first time. So I was in and out of treatment for a while, and, just meeting more people that were not good for me because I was in these treatment centers, and I'm now meeting other people, and, so now I'm trying different things, and I end up with, this desire for some reason to try heroin. Like, I want to try this because this just sounds like a good idea.
This is when you're going in and out of help meetings, AA or whatever it's called. I don't know what they call it.
I was an NA I was living in Columbus at this time. So I'm in Columbus. I'm going to Narcotics Anonymous.
Okay.
And so I was just meeting all these people that had drug addictions, and I would listen to all these stories about heroin addicts and how they thought they found God when they did heroin the first time. And I'm like, I want to know what that feels like, because I still was, when you have an addiction and you've done all these things to yourself, your self-worth is next to zero. So I'm not feeling good about life. I'm not feeling good about myself. I just really don't know what I'm going to do, what direction I'm going to go in. I'm not happy. And I got bored. And so I had some time in clean, and I was bored. I'm like, I need something exciting. I need something to make me feel again. Right. I want to feel something or not feel something, I should say. Maybe I didn't want to feel anything. Maybe that's more what it was. I wanted to numb myself because I was starting to feel again, and I didn't like it.
Right.
I was like, what is this? So that's when I decided to try that, because I thought maybe that was the answer to making me feel better. So yeah, I went through quite a bit, but.
So you got to that, and when you tried out heroin, did you continue going in and out to therapy or your meetings, or were you still?
Nah, now I'm just full blown using heroin now.
Okay, yeah.
I went through a long time. I think maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
struggled with that.
So you got lucky, like, because I've from just working I work in a factory, and there's people who use heroin there, and you hear the stories, and you hear people, OD, and it's like you just met them, and I'm assuming 2 years is probably a long time.
It is, and it was definitely a different kind of life now, because now I'm, just all over the place in Columbus. Sometimes have no idea where I'm going to stay, stuff like that. So it was pretty bad. And I mean, it's, without going into too much detail, I mean, I came home for a little while, I got better, and then I went back, back and forth. But my mom's sick at this point in time. She had been battling cancer. So I knew that I had to quit a line, like pretending like everything's okay. Like I have to go get help. I have to be with her because she's not getting better.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, she's not getting better. And the guy I was with at the time would not let me go home. Anyway, so I finally get out of that whole situation. I get home and I get on they have like a methadone program here, and I was able to get on that and be with my mom. So, and it worked for me. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody, but it worked for me. So I think that was like, and I never looked back on that. I got off of it. It took me a while because that was a process in itself, because you have to be on methadone for a long time and you have to slowly get off of it. So, but I did that, and I went through that whole process, and I got off of it. So,
would you say that because of your mom, that's why you saved yourself, why you quit?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I'd like to think that was the reason. I just think that I was at a point in my life where I knew I was not going to make it. I was really at my lowest without, I don't really want to dive too much into that story, but I was really at my lowest low in my life. And there were just things happening that I just had to get out of it. I had to get away. Actually, it was a stranger that saw it in my eyes, which is really weird, because a stranger out of nowhere just like came up to me. I wish I knew who this was. I swear it was like an angel or something, because he just came up, this random person came up to me and just said, just started talking to me because he saw sadness in my eyes, and then ended up giving me enough money to go home. And awesome. He was like, you need to go. After I told him everything, I ended up crying and like telling him all this stuff. He's like, you need to get home. I'm giving you money. You need to take this and you need to go home. And I took it and I went home, and I never looked back. And it was just really weird. And I don't know if I wouldn't have ran into that random stranger. I really honestly don't know if I would have went home. And if my mother would have passed away without me being there, I don't know. I don't think I'd be alive right now.
Right.
So it's like I feel like I owe it all to this stranger.
That's the best thing that can happen, and that's why, when you meet someone like that, it makes us want to do that for other people too. Like, if you can just help someone out just by just being there and talking to them, it's changing their whole life.
I don't even know this guy. I don't even know this person's name. I wish I could. I wish I did. I wish I could look him up somehow and thank him and tell him what he did for me, but. Because he'll never know.
Maybe he'll hear this.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that's awesome though.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you went home, and so now what? You
So basically, what happened after my mother ended up passing away from cancer. I took care of her, and I went back to I got a job. I think that's when I started working at the bank and just started living a normal life. But I was just kind of bored. And then, because, you go through all of that. Yeah. And it's really easy to get bored. But so I kind of gave up playing pool. Like I wasn't playing pool. I forgot how much I loved the game. I kind of gave up on it. It was a dream I felt like I once had, but wasn't obtainable anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
And fast forward to 2013, I want to say 2013, and two champions came through. Nick Varner and Johnny Archer came through Toledo, and they were doing an exhibition. I got wind of it, and I'm like, I should go. I should just go check it out. And I went, and Nick and I became really good friends, and I found out that I still played really well. And I got this like feeling back in me that I hadn't felt in a long time.
Yeah.
And I just was like, wow, I can still play this game. So that felt really good because I thought that was just a dream that was gone for me. And excuse me, always going to be a regret that I had, but it wasn't. So I decided I was going to go out to Las Vegas. I was going to compete in the tournament in 2013. And I went out there and I just played so bad. I'll just be honest with you.
I expected something different.
No, it was like the worst. I just thought, wow, I was nervous. I'm like, where did this come from? Because I never really had nerves when I played in tournaments when I was younger.
Yeah, so you choked under the pressure.
I just felt all this enormous pressure, and I'm like, where did this go? What is this? Like, I'm not used to this.
Right.
So I was really upset with myself. I think I did it to myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself because I thought I was expecting to play like I did when I was younger. So the following year, 2014, I said, okay, I'm going to try this again. But this year I said, I am not going to put pressure on myself. I'm just going to have fun. I just want to play my best. I don't want to play bad. I don't want to go out there and play bad. I'm just going to play my best. And it doesn't matter if I win or lose.
There you go.
And that was maybe the key, I guess, because that year, 2014, I went out to Las Vegas, played in the BCA, and I won both the 9-ball and the 8-ball. I took first place in both. The 8-ball, yeah. The 8-ball had like 250 some players in it, and the 9-ball had about 76 or something like that. So it was a lot of competition.
But it's Vegas. Like, that's like the place.
Yeah, and I just decided, I mean, it was a great year for me. It was so exciting, and I just felt like so accomplished, and I was focused. I mean, I would get up really early in the morning. I would be at my table practicing an hour and a half before my match. As soon as, and I'd play sometimes till like 11 at night. You know, I'd start at like 10 in the morning and play till like 11 or 12 at night. And I go to sleep and I get up and do it again. You're out there for like 2 weeks. So it's a lot of playing. But yeah, I did it. And I think I even took third in the Scotch doubles that year, which I had a partner with. So it was a really good year.
That's awesome. So you took some trophies home. And so how did you feel when you got home?
Amazing. All of a sudden, I had interviews. Tom Cole from BCSN wanted to interview me. I had WTOL doing an interview with me. I think another news station did one too. So all of a sudden, I'm just like went from people didn't remember me because there was a lot of time that passed, and then I wasn't a national champion when I was younger, so nobody really knew me from on a national level. And now all of a sudden, players that I admire are saying hi to me. You know, when they were like passing me after I won, they were like saying hi to me. And it was crazy to think that, wow, they know who I am now. That's pretty cool. So I was excited about that. I was just taking it all in. It was a big accomplishment for me considering my whole history and everything I'd gone through and then coming back. But
it makes you appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it. So it was very, very, very exciting. And I haven't really looked back since, I've taken some second place finishes and haven't had a year like that again, but I will. I feel it, I feel good about the path that I'm on. So just going to continue to move forward. Oh, and now I'm really into like health and fitness, which is funny. So yeah, so because I have an addiction thing going on. So when you have this addiction personality, this addict personality, you can get addicted to anything, good things, bad things,
right.
So I just, unfortunately, when I was younger, it was bad things. But as I got older, I learned how to redirect it to healthy things.
Right.
Other people may not say it's healthy because I get obsessed, like I'll start working out and I'm working out all the time, like perfectly. I got to eat perfect and super healthy. But I could never, the thing is, because I got addicted to health and fitness, I could never go back to I couldn't even imagine putting some of that stuff in my body that I put in
you're-
my body when I was younger.
You're on the opposite spectrum now.
Yeah.
Now you're completely working out, kicking ass, eating right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the total difference. Like now you're a badass.
Well, I don't know if I would say that, but I like that word. I'll take it. But I definitely feel better. I feel like, and I'm not, I'm not ashamed. This is actually the first time I've really talked publicly about what I went through. Because, not because, I'm ashamed of it or anything, because I'm not. It's like who I am, but because of, I guess, fear of judgment of other people and what they would think if they knew some of the things that I've gone through, how they would look at me. Because I think most people that know me now would never, if I told them this, they would just be like, what?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well,
when we met and we talked, and I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can totally understand. And if it's someone like I never knew you before that. And so if it's someone I can totally understand.
Yeah, there's people I've known for years, and I'll tell them something like that one night, and they'll just be like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Feels like another life." Because I feel like a different person,
right.
Completely different person. Sometimes I don't even feel like that life was ever real. Mm-hmm. It's surreal. But one thing I know is it's not a life I would ever go back to.
Right, but that's the reason why. That's not the reason why I wanted you on the podcast, but it's the reason why I was really excited for you to come on is because like when you met that stranger and those words helped you out, I'm hoping that someone's listening to this and it helps them out, because someone that's deep in their problems, addiction, it could be anything, hearing your words, they can relate to you.
Yeah, and if I could say anything to them, I would tell them that like addicted, don't label yourself being an addict, don't label that as a bad thing, because it can be. I know so many people that come out of addiction that do amazing things, because the one thing you could say about people that have my personality type is they're determined, and no matter what they do, it's just unfortunate that a lot of them got caught in the dark side of it, but there's an amazing side of it, and you just have to find it. When you do, it's beautiful because you don't let things go. You can be the best at anything that you want to be, and you work really hard. You work really hard. You're not going to give up on something, because you get, like I said, the health and fitness thing, I turned all my negative things into a positive, and they can do that too. Anybody can do that.
Right.
I'm not special, so.
Well, I think you're special. We're all special.
Thanks. Yeah, we're all special.
Yeah.
We all have special abilities and unique sides to us that some of us have trouble exploring due to circumstances, but it's all there.
I feel you have to go through your own journey to get to where you want to get to being champion for a pool, for a tournament, to who knows where your story is going to go now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you have some goals.
I do have some big goals. So,
and growing up and being a pool ball player at age 16, mm-hmm. practicing 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day. I'm sure it sounds like it was all day.
Yeah.
And going on the road, and you were serious about it. I mean, you're going on the road, like,
yeah,
that's pretty serious. And, then you had some problems and you went to a dark place and you wanted to change. And that's the key. You want to change. You have to want to change. You wanted to change. you changed. You found your passion again. You found something that had meaning to it. Mm-hmm. You got to play pool again. Came back, lost. Then you took first place. Like, you lost the previous year. Like, you whiffed. It was terrible. Came back and won the whole thing. Like,
yeah,
that's amazing.
It felt amazing. And again, I plan on having some more wins in the future. So keep an eye out because I'm ready.
I'm waiting. What is your plans now?
Well, I'm going to be doing an exhibition up north with the guy who came through town in 2013. His name's Nick Varner. He's an 8-time world champion. I watched him growing up. He was a big idol of mine, and I'm doing an exhibition with him up in Michigan. Can't remember the name of the city. But I'm doing that next Thursday. And so tomorrow I'm going to Washington, D.C. just for fun. But yeah, I have this exhibition I'm really excited about, and we've done it before. I've done a couple with him before. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Great group of people.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
You pick up any other hobbies along the way?
Nah, I still like to play Texas Hold'em when I can.
Okay.
You know, I still love to play cards. I don't get the opportunity as much as I'd like, but I was doing that for a while, you know, here and there. So I like that. And I still like to bowl once in a while. And I tried playing tennis for a little bit, but I don't have the best knees. So.
So what's your game plan? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, I want to see, of course I want to win some more tournaments. That's my game plan. You know, I want to get my game stronger. So 2014 was great, but I want to win some more. I want some more titles. And I just want to see where that takes me, I guess. I'm just kind of winging it, you know? I'm just kind of winging it right now.
Going on the journey, letting it take you. Yeah.
I'm doing some social media stuff on the side. But I have a lot of exciting, you know, ideas about the future, I guess. We'll see.
Awesome.
I love that the juniors too. I love talking to the juniors and
giving
them where they're going. Yeah.
Like a pep talk kind of deal.
Yeah. There's some really talented juniors in the field right now. So
awesome. So let's say if you're talking to a junior or someone that just enjoys playing pool and wants to do a little bit more, what advice would you give them?
Well, stay focused on the game. Don't get distracted by the people in it. Then just be careful who you trust and who you hang out with, because there's some seedy characters in the game, and it's very easy, especially being young. And if it's a young girl, I definitely would advise them to just be careful who they hang out with, because there are a lot of bad people that will, you know, could take them down a dark path. And, you know, just stay focused on them, stay focused on the game, and don't look back, you know, if that's what you want to do. You know, you gotta stay there mentally, you know. But
don't let other people consume you then.
Don't get too caught up in the excitement. I think it's different today though with Facebook. I don't think it's the same. Like the road isn't the same. Everybody knows who everybody is now because of Facebook. All the games are made online beforehand. There's none of that, like somebody walks in and you don't know who it is. Everybody, you know, that's gone. So that kind of, now it's a little different. I don't think I think the seediness is going a little bit. It's a little probably easier or better for the juniors now than it was when I was in the game.
What's one thing in life you learned that changed your outlook on life?
One thing in life I learned that changed my outlook. Wow. Well, I think that I learned trying to think how to put this. You have to really find out who you are and like just go with it and go for it, you know, not be afraid of it, because I was always trying to make other people happy, and you're never going to be happy trying to live other people's lives. Like, you just got to do you and be you and, you know, follow your own dreams and your own instincts, and don't listen to what others have. You know, everybody has plans for you that aren't your own. You know, you got to follow your own path, whatever that path is, and believe in it and believe in yourself. So I think learning that, and actually it's taken me probably to the last couple of years to really learn how to be myself and what that is. And I'm still learning. I'm not even close to finished with that journey, but learning how to be yourself is the key to everything, and to trying, and it's the key to success. It's the key to happiness. It's everything. So if you can't learn that, or if you're not doing that, or if there's somebody in your life that you're just trying to please, stop. Just stop. Like, be yourself. So yeah,
awesome.
For me, that's my biggest lesson in life, and I'm still learning that. So
that's something where we all should work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely aspiring words. Gonna have to quote that somewhere.
I could have probably said it better if I was more
that
prepared.
Was awesome. No, it's way better when it's not prepared. It's more meaning and heart into it. Yeah. So where can people find you online?
They can find me all over the place. So Kelly Isaac, I'm like, okay, so I have a Facebook page. I am Kelly Isaac Facebook, and then I am Kelly Isaac Instagram, and I am Kelly Isaac YouTube. Like, I tried to keep it uniform so it's easy to find. And then of course my main face, I haven't really been posting on my Facebook like page because it's just, it doesn't reach as many people, I feel like, and it's more for business, I think, for businesses to try to run ads, because they change the algorithms on Facebook. So those pages don't get a lot of viewings. So most of my posting now, I don't think I've posted that in a while, is on my main page, Kelly Isaac, ISAAC. And you can find me there, and you can add me as a friend. I don't really have room to add anybody, but I have followers. So just add, and you can follow me, and I keep everything open so my followers can see what I post. I don't like keeping it open, but it's the only way to let the followers see. Yeah. So, and Snapchat.
I don't have you on Snapchat.
I Snapchat. Well, I go through times when I'm Snapchatting all the time, and then I go through times when I don't think I have a Snap on there now, but maybe I should add one.
Yeah. Do you have any plugs you'd like to say, or anything you'd like to advertise, or?
Anything I'd like to advertise? Well, if you do play pool and you're looking for a new tip, I suggest Blackheart Tips. They're a European company, and their tips are fantastic. They are layered tips, and they last forever. And if you want to know more about that, just shoot me a message.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. It was amazing.
I had fun. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, I will see you later.
Okay. Bye.
You can be whoever you want to be. People may get in your way, including yourself, but they can also get out of the way if you truly believe in yourself. I really want to thank Kelly for sharing her story. Go over and support her. She has tournaments coming up. Her Facebook page is entertaining, and I'm sure she'll have some things you want to keep an eye out for. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want to show some support, please rate and subscribe on your podcast app you are using. And if you really want to support, go over and do it on iTunes. Rate and subscribe. That would really help, because that's like the go-to podcast platform. All right, I will see you next time.